Hello Year 8. So today we're going to do the legacy art where you're going to produce a tile that's going to be part of a larger piece of art. So all the tiles are going to come together to form a large piece of art. Each individual tile that you do today, we're going to stick to the theme of hearts. So you all had the graffiti experience on Friday on the field. It's going to be in that theme. So hearts is the theme we're going to stick with. What I want you to do first is I want you to get some gloves on. That should be in your classroom, okay? So if your teacher can hand out the gloves and you each put a pair of gloves on. We're going to be using acrylic paints, and so if you get the acrylic paints onto your clothing, it is quite difficult to get the paint off, so please be careful. The tiles are quite small, you can see them. They're in various colours, and what I want you to do is place a piece of paper towel. So each of the art boxes I've handed out to your bubbles should have paper towels in. Each of you need to do your work on a paper towel. So place the paper towel on the desk and then simply put your tile in the centre. Then one at a time, with the paper plates that are in your classrooms, I want you to go and collect one at a time, wearing your gloves, 3 or 4 maximum. You don't need any more than that. 2 or 3 would probably be ideal. Colours of paint. Now, the size of the paint I want you to put on the plate is really small. Okay, 1, because we don't want much waste, and 2, the tiles are really small. So think about the colours that would go well with the tiles. So if, for example, you were doing the yellow and green colourway, you might want to add oranges and greens to that. If you're doing the cooler colours, so by that I mean the colder colours, so the purples and blues, you might want to go for light blues, so whites, things like that. Entirely up to you, no rules, but try and make it look as colourful and interesting as you can. So I'm going to get some white acrylic paint on my plate, and you probably need the size of your thumbnail, really. That's probably what you need. So on my little plate here, probably about that size, I'm going to take a little bit of blue. So you would take your plate up to the front, collect your 3 colours, and then sit down. So that would happen one at a time, socially distancing, trying to be as safe as possible. So like I say, just small bits like that, probably about the size of your thumbnail. That yellow's probably a bit much, came out a bit fast. Now you can mix the paints if you want to create new colours. So if you wanted a lighter blue, you would take a chunk of your white paint, take it to a new part of the plate. Okay. You would then get a second paper towel. There's plenty of paper towels, so make sure you grab a second paper towel, and you would just clean your brush off. Everyone's got a water bottle. So clean your brush off just using water and the paper towel. Then you would take a tiny bit of the blue. It only takes a tiny amount of a dark colour to change the white. So a tiny amount of the blue, and you would mix it to make a third colour. So you would have your dark blue, your light blue, and your white. Okay. So when you're painting the tiles, I either want you to paint a heart in the centre of the tile, or I want you to leave a heart blank. The reason being, all of these tiles have been spray painted into a huge rainbow when they're put together. So by leaving part of the tile, the existing spray painted rainbow, when they all come together, we're going to see that big, huge rainbow. So decide if you're going to paint the background and leave the heart, the spray painted base, or decide if you're going to paint the heart and leave the background, the spray painted base. So for this one, I'm going to paint the background. So what I want you to do is I want you to, with a very nice fine brush, I want you to create the shape of your heart. Your heart has to go to the very tip of the tile, to the very bottom of the tile, like that. And I want these hearts quite painty effects. It's a symmetrical design, so if you want to turn your heart around, so you create that even shape, do whatever you feel is going to help you. Okay, I'm going to start with the darkest colour first, and then as I go out from the centre, I'm going to mix the light blue and white. So nice and gently all the way around, getting that lovely shape, getting that lovely point at the top. Now, your hearts can be fatter than this, it can be quite thin and narrow, it's entirely up to you. But the shape you leave or the shape you paint in has to be a heart, okay? So I'm going to come out a bit more with my darkest blue. Again, we want it quite painty, textured. Don't worry about it being flat. The painted effect's quite nice. Then I'm going to clean my brush off in the water. Use a paper towel just to give it a clean, and then go for my light blue. So, my light blue on the plate, I mixed earlier. I'm going to then go on the outside. Now, the paint is wet, so the idea is that my light blue will start to blend in to my dark blue. See that? And that's what you want. You don't want lines, if you like. You want it to blend. I'm going to go quite far out using all the paint on my brush. Blending as I go, so mixing that light into dark. Now if you want to just dry your brush off, if it's got too much paint, you'll find blending a little bit easier. So it's called dry brushing. The technique is where you mix the paint that's actually on the tile and not mix more paint that's on your brush into it. It just helps you with that blending effect. So it starts to become more of a gradient from dark to light. So keep drying your brush off and it'll help with that blending. Every time you put the brush onto the tile, it will pick up paint. So getting that paint back off is important. And if you need to go back, like here I need to put a bit more dark onto it, that's fine. Go back and lay it over. Okay. Spend some time getting that lovely gradient right. A little bit more dark there. Nice, crisp, clean outline. The easiest way to do a crisp, clean outline is to have your brush loaded quite heavily with paint and to drag the brush towards you. Like so. Now, the very outside, I'll just clean my brush with a bit of water there. The very outside of this, I want to have more lighter again, rather, so it'll be the white that I apply. So, taking the white paint and then come from the outside and meet my light blue. And again, dry brushing when I get to that stage is going to be key. So remember, you're either leaving the spray painted base on the outside of the heart, or you're leaving that spray painted base the shape of the heart. So you're either painting the heart in or painting the background in. So again, get my brush dry, and now it's about making sure that my paint is smooth and I get those lovely blended colours. The more time you take with this, I know it's a small tile, I've got plenty of time in our 45-minute lesson, and the more time you take with this, the nicer the overall collaborative piece of art's going to be. And like I say, that dry brushing technique, keep cleaning your brush and you'll find the blending a lot easier. So, that should be now placed to dry. The way I want you to place it to dry for ease, keep things simple, is you'll simply just take your paper towel that I've given you in the box and you carry your tile to the windowsill and place it there. There's no need to name your tiles. Everybody's tile is going to be coming together to make a bigger piece of art. Okay, so just carry your tile over to the windowsill, leave it to dry in the sunshine, and that should be ready for me to collect tomorrow from you. Thanks. Bye.